Partners in Ministry, a presentation of Josiah White's Quakerdale Foundation, dedicated to growing ministry support networks, introducing people to a cause that connects with their heart, bringing hope and encouragement to our communities as we seek together to serve as Christ served.
Welcome to Partners in Ministry. My name is Dan Smith, and today I'll be talking with Chip Daleske. Chip is the administrator for Camp Quaker Heights. In today's interview, we're going to learn about the ministry of Camp Quaker Heights and explore ways they may be able to serve you. Welcome, Chip, and thanks for joining me today.
You bet.
Now, some of our listeners may not quite be familiar with Camp Quaker Heights, where you are, how you got started. So let's start with a little brief history. Tell us a little bit about how did Camp Quaker Heights get started?
Yeah, so a group called Quaker Men of Iowa started in probably before 1948, but in 1948, they purchased the first few acres of that Camp Quaker Heights property, and the goal was to have a place for youth around Iowa Yearly Meeting to come and meet outdoors and have a camp. And so I believe the first summer of camps, they were all in tents and everything was cooked over a fire, and it was real rustic. So that's kind of how it started.
But it was a real camping camp.
Yes. Yep. That's right.
Yeah.
So then later on in the 90s, the Quaker Men, I think it was in the 90s, Quaker Men kind of handed over the ministry to Iowa Yearly Meeting, which is our group of churches. And so Iowa Yearly Meeting took over, and Quaker Heights has always had a board. And so that's kind of, and then in the 90s as well, there was a lot of capital campaign and building some new cabins and a new bathhouse. And then in the early 2000s, we built the Tall Oaks, kind of a retreat facility geared more towards adults and families, and it's more conducive to a bathroom in each room, kind of more of a retreat center type of place. Yeah.
So originally started out as a camp with some men that were excited about the idea of providing a place for youth during the summer to come and have a neat experience out of doors. That switched over to an official kind of camp per se, where you kind of became your own entity in the 90s. And at that point, you already had a board. You started to build residential things like cabins and a dining hall and so forth. And so today, where are you located now?
Eldora, Iowa. So we are part of our property is right along the Iowa River, and then just a short 5-minute walk away is Pine Lake State Park.
Okay, well, that's a great location.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, it is. I've been on your campus numerous times, and I'll tell you what, the Camp Quaker Heights in the fall is pretty hard to beat.
It is. Yep.
It really is. And so then probably for its first couple decades, it was primarily serving the needs of the Iowa Yearly Meeting youth. And then you began to expand into other types of ministries where you were letting other people come in and use the facility. Is that right?
Yes. And I would say probably there were maybe some family groups here and there that used the camp, before in the 80s, 70s. But then probably close to mid 90s, late 90s, started opening up and having instead of just kind of youth camps in the summertime, fall retreats and just all ages of people, all the way from kindergarten up to college age and adults, families there.
Sure. Well, it's kind of neat to hear how Camp Quaker Heights has kind of moved. It's really a very impressive facility right now. It's hard to imagine it with just being tents way back in the 40s.
Yeah,
So how has God prepared you personally to be the administrator of the camp? What's your journey been?
Yeah, so I was lucky enough to grow up just 20 minutes away in New Providence. And so anytime there was a work day or any opportunity to be at camp, family sent me to camp. And so just loved being out. I'm a real outdoors guy, so I love being outdoors and just loved camp. and later on, probably in high school, was able and given the chance to work at the camp in the summertime as summer staff. And then I do remember one time sitting at the campfire late at night. All the kids are, getting ready for bed and everything, and another staff and I were sitting around the campfire, and we kind of looked at each other and said, "Man, wouldn't it be great if we could just work at camp, year round? Wouldn't that be just the best job ever?" And so here I am. I started officially on salary in 2005, January of 2005, just doing some part-time maintenance, and then kind of from there evolved into some of the programming. And then in January of 2013, my wife Alicia and I took over as administrator, is my title, and her title is administrative assistant. So that's kind of how we got to this point that we are here now.
Yeah. And you guys have how many children?
Two. We got a junior in high school and then a first grader. So we have them
Wow.
spread out.
No way. No way. I remember when they were really little. That's hard to believe that many years have gone by. What a great environment to raise a family.
Yes, both of my kids just absolutely love it. Our oldest daughter, Elizabeth, I mean, both the kids don't know anything different, but yeah, she just grew up, and it's funny. My son just sees. We just had a group this last weekend, and he had a blast just playing with the kids that were here, and anybody is his friend if they're outside roaming the ground. So
Sure. So now tell us a little bit about there's really two basic groups that you're serving. One is those out of the Iowa Yearly Meeting, and then the other is just kind of general public ministries that come in and rent your facility. Now let's talk a little bit about the camps and the programs that the Iowa Yearly Meetings put out. What are those?
there are we call it a little fry. It's a kindergarten through second grade, I believe. And so they come with a parent or grandparents or an older brother and sister, and they're just there Friday through Sunday and just kind of get a feel of what camp's like and what's the schedule. And then parents or grandparents that maybe haven't been on site before kind of gets the feel of like, oh, this is what a day at camp looks like, and scheduling and those type of things. So it's a good way to kind of start kids out so they can kind of get familiar with camp. Goes all the way through high school camp. We've got a 9 through 12, and then a 6 through 8 for junior high, and then a 3rd through 5th as well. And those camps are mostly done in June. So.
And what kind of groups are coming in and actually renting your facility and putting on their own programming? Who you're serving that way?
Yeah, so they're a group called Lakeview out of Pella, Iowa, and they rent our facility for about anywhere from about 8 weeks or so, 6 to 8 weeks. And so at that point, we're just in charge of the grounds and cleaning and meals, and then running all we don't do the programming stuff, but we do provide lifeguards and take them canoeing, provide us snacks in the afternoon, camp store, and those type of things to them. So
Sure. So if I was another kind of church affiliated type of an organization, I was looking for a place to do a camp, I would connect with you using the contact information that's here on your screen. What kind of amenities or what kind of things are available for me as far as programming is concerned there at the camp?
Yeah, so we're situated on, I say, about close to 70 acres, and probably half of that has been utilized. So there's lots of area to explore, lots of hiking trails. We've got some mountain bikes for kind of junior high and high school or adults ages. We've got miniature golf, basketball, a pool, gaga ball, disc golf. And then we also take groups either canoeing down the river or at the lake. Those are kind of the two options. And we've taken some groups before out to Wildcat Cave and explored it out over there. It's over by Steamboat. So those are some of the things that we help facilitate for groups that are on site and have available for them. So
Sure. So I've got there's opportunities for people that want to bring something from an organized group or whatever. What about just general families? Like, let's say I want to do a family reunion, or I want to do a graduations, celebration time or something like that. Is it open for just general people to also rent, let's say for the weekend or for a day?
yeah, absolutely. The dining hall gets used often for graduation receptions, and the same thing with Tall Oaks. There's a big residential dining room upstairs, and so we've used that before for those type of groups and families as well. Tall Oaks is the retreat center is mostly used for church groups, maybe doing some leadership, or family groups that some affiliated as Quakers and some that are not, and just know some Quaker families that use it, and the Quaker families that use it, spoke highly of it, and so they now call it their place to gather with their family and just spend time together. So
Sure. Yeah. Well, that was my next question. So it is available for both Quakers and non-Quakers.
yes, we actually had a group of Catholics in this last weekend that we fed and served, and so yep, not keeping anybody from using the camp. So
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Chip, I just want to thank you for spending some time with me. If you've got questions or if you'd like to learn more about what's happening at Camp Quaker Heights, maybe check out their summer schedule. You can see their website here. Is there anything else that you'd like to say before we cut this thing off?
I don't think so.
All right. Hey, Camp Quaker Heights, great place for family, for your kids. Tons of opportunities out there. If you got any questions or any concerns, or if you'd like to learn more, you can see the camp's contact information here on the screen. You can also find it in the show notes for our episode and our website, as well as in the description of this YouTube video. So on behalf of Camp Quaker Heights, Chip Daleske, and Partners in Ministry, I'm Dan Smith saying thanks for joining me. Let's get out there and serve as Christ serves.
This has been a presentation of Partners in Ministry, a podcast of Josiah White's Quakerdale Foundation. To learn more and see the show notes for this and other episodes, visit our website. To stay informed of up and coming broadcasts, subscribe to our e-newsletter. To invest in our mission, donate